Good morning, Year 7, and welcome back to Term 4. Hope you and your families are well. Going to start with a little bit of music and some quotes on the theme for this week, which is hope. The painting is by the English painter George Frederick Watts, who completed it in 1886. The music you're going to listen to is Bach's Fugue number 10. I'm going to see some quotes, so please read and think about the meaning of these quotes as the music plays. To theme hope in a moment. First, a bit on the word of the week. This week's word of the week is auspicious. It's an adjective describing word that means indicating future success or pointing towards favourable outcomes. It comes from the Latin. The Romans used to predict the future by looking at the way animals, particularly my favourite chickens, looking at their behaviour. So the AUS bit at the start that has the same root as aviation for flying, or avian for bird, or even the start of the word ostrich. The second word, the SPIC bit, that's the same roots as spectator or spectacles. And it's to do with looking at something. So essentially there was a fortune teller who would look at how the chickens came out for breakfast each morning and write a report predicting what the day would be like. If they came out like happy little chickens, it meant it was an auspicious day and things were likely to turn out well. If they came out slowly and weren't keen on their food, it meant it was an inauspicious day when things were going to be a bit difficult. Well, I picked this word at the start of this term because I'm feeling quite auspicious. I think things are going to get better. Anyway, I will give you 5 house points for the first person to put a comment and show my homework, telling me what the name given to this sort of fortune teller was. Anyway, on to the main theme today, hope. When I looked up online, there were so many quotes I could have picked. Showed you quite a few, but the one I want to focus on for a moment is from Michelle Obama. We may not always have a comfortable life. You will not always be able to solve all the world's problems at once. But don't underestimate the importance you can have, because history has shown us that courage can be contagious and hope can take on a life of its own. Now, we've certainly been living through some difficult times. It can be hard to keep our hopes up, to keep our motivation going. Well, you're saying that, although times are hard for us, they are perhaps not as difficult as some times in the past. If you think about some previous generations, if you were a South American when the conquistadors arrived, if you were in West Africa when the slave ships came, if you were in Europe, if you're one of the Jewish communities at the rise of the Nazis, there'd definitely be some more considerable and harder times. But when things are hard, you've got to think about how you respond to them. I mean, some of the world's most influential people have transformed their lives despite hardships. Charles Darwin, one of the greats of science, he was almost always physically ill, travelled around the world in great pain, came up with some of the most important scientific theories of all time. Stephen Hawking had motor neuron disease and was reduced to a wheelchair and unable to speak, but made great advances in science. Helen Keller will feature on my later assembly, who was blind and deaf. But all of these people, they responded to these conditions, they didn't, not with sort of resentment or fatalism, but they stood up to life and exercised their willpower, transformed their negative experiences into positive ones. That's my hope for you, that you can keep your hopes up. As I've said in previous assemblies, be the captain of your ship. I've got a final quote before I move on to some other things. It's from the Buddha. Be a lamp for yourselves. Be your own refuge. Seek for no other. All things must pass. Strive on diligently. Don't give up. I think we can get through these difficult times is to recognise and accept that things are difficult, yet cling to our hopes and work our way through them. Right, time for a little bit of praise. So Mr. Brown has nominated the following for their good work at home the last few weeks. Sean, Naum, Matthew. Miss Bedell has picked out Oliver for his work. Miss Faulkner Lee has picked out Sharifa and Maisie for the work they've done over the holiday. So well done to all of those people. Right, a few final messages. A little moan. Even though you are working at home, there is no excuse for not keeping neat and organised. Just because there's a little bit less checking going on does not mean you should slacken your approach. Keep your standards up, present work well, take some pride in it. Do try to stay on top of the work that's set each day. Do your best, but don't go over the top. It's just important for you to stay happy, healthy, to do your exercise, keep up with friends and family the best way you can, to be creative, to read, to do all those things that make you happy. You need to know when to stop working. If you're struggling with some of the work, talk to your parents. Let your teachers know. If you spent the right amount of time, the lesson time, doing your work and you've not finished, don't carry on and try to be perfect with your work. You're just going to be fairly forgiving. We set work for all students. Some of you will get through it, some of you won't. We don't want you to sit there doing nothing, so we set a lot. But you don't have to do it all. The teachers are going to be fairly forgiving. Things are difficult and we understand that. All we ask is that you try. Okay, that is me. So have a great rest of the week. I'll be posting a few messages on Show My Homework. Thank you and goodbye.